Hey, how are you? It's 1 o'clock, or actually 1:03. So I just had a scheduled time of 1 o'clock, and I got in at 1:03. So I was close. I've been off the air for a little bit, and I have returned. Let's see, where's that? Okay, so can I get something going here? I was trying to get this. Oops, I got the wrong thing. That's my phone. You can actually use your phone as a camera. Look at that. We're looking, I'm holding it high over my head. There's my soundboard. You guys never get to see that because this camera, where is it? Ooh, yeah, that camera. Yeah. Is not friendly. This is my insulin tube. See that? It says 4 degrees centigrade. So anyway, it's a weird kind of a thing. I guess I could. It says on here. That should be in there. Here we go. See, now I got my camera. You see I'm going around this. I'm turning it around, so in theory, you could see my soundboard. There it is, upside down. That'd be right side up. It still looks like it's upside down. But you see, I can hit one of these things. I don't use that very often. Crickets. no one's calling. All I get is crickets. Oh my god. Okay, so we don't want this. So I'm going to say disconnect. iPhone disconnect. Okay. Bingo. We've just disconnected. All right. Let's see. Why is this? This should be. Let's unplug it. I have this wire here. It plugs in here. This is always a workshop. All right. Is it coming up? Trust. Yes, we're going to trust that computer. Oh, it's so careful. I got to put a password in here. Oh, continue. Continue without FAU for you. Yeah, I guess we'll continue without it, whatever that means. No, that's another camera. Oh boy. We have to add this one so you can see something. And we'll get rid of that one. There we go. And this is not on. Yep, there's that's the wire. It should be on. I got this universal plug-in thing, which is, I thought it was working. All right. Anyway, so you can see. Let's see if we can get this. Turn that down a little bit. That's Fox News in the background, of course. You can see it up there in this corner. It's amazing. This is an iPad that, yeah, it's like $1,000. It's got all kinds of things in it, So I was going to turn it in and get an upgraded model, and but You pay $1,000 for something, and then they're going to give you 130. You're going to give me $130 for this thing? Forget it. I'll give it. I'll just show pictures with it. So, what's going on? I just lost my live feed to Facebook for some reason. Maybe it's because I wasn't saying enough interesting things. A little tag in here. I hate these tags. Cut that off. Throw it away. My cleaning ladies came today, so at 9 o'clock. Today was the early day. So they came here. I like it early because they're fresh and they're full of muscles. And they work around here for 2 hours and bam, they're gone. The two of them for 2 hours. It's great. They suck up every piece of stuff off the floor. They mop the floors. It's really quite nice. Everything gets cleaned up very, very nicely. And, they wash the appliances in the bathroom. I don't mind cleaning up in the kitchen, but I don't like dealing with the porcelain furniture. You know what I mean? I just, too many bugs, whatever. It smells bad for a reason. That's God's way of saying, stay away. Oh, God. So in my, let's get off that topic. Let's see. We have interesting thing. Someone asked me about my background. So I created what is known as a public bio. And you see on the screen, it says public biography, current through 2023. I got my residence information and connect phone number and all that stuff up here. And then here's bullet points, A through K. And then here's, Wilson possesses executive level experience. Yes, he does. I wonder who that guy is. And down here it says Florida Atlantic University College, Charles E. Schmidt College of Science, adjunct faculty. Yes. And I authored a book, and it's called Principles of Digital Photography and Post-Image Processing. That's a fancy word for Photoshop. Anyway, so, I was doing that in 2003. Now, this is 23? That was 20 years ago. Ooh, 20 years ago, I was a pretty unique character because I was a professional photographer, if you will, on field, taking pictures of FAU football since 2000, actually. In 2003 and 2023. You subtract that, don't you get 20 years? Woo! God darn, time flies. And then it got updated again in 2007 with the second edition. Pearson Education couldn't get enough of me. I mean, they loved it. Oh, I wrote that sucker up, and I created what I would call as a prototype of a book. I had it printed, from my equipment and stuff I had here. Because digital photography, you have to have printers and, good stuff. So I had good stuff. And so when it was time to meet with the, what they call that person that looks over your work, your manuscript, that's the word, manuscript, which is like a bunch of paper with a clip in a folder. That's how you see it on the TV all the time. Well, I had a prototype book as if it came right off the press of Pearson Education, the largest publisher. I mean, they are the Cadillac, BMW, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it is not the Okefenokee Swamp Press, that publishes 3 books a year. This is Pearson Education. It's the biggest and the most prolific. So thanks to John Harlan, who introduced me to them. We met in his office, actually, and I made 3 prototype books. I don't happen to have one laying around here, do I? I think they're over in that cabinet. I'll show you. Maybe next time I'll pull the book out. I mean, it's no big deal. It was. It took me. I clocked it. It took me 700 hours to produce that writing and the prototype. And, the acquisition editor was, looking at it very curiously, all that kind of stuff. And what the heck is this? Oh, boy. Get out of here. I was looking for the book, but got it. Anyway, so when the acquisition editor was like paging through it, and then she had this big 3-ring binder that was, about that thick, 3.5 inches. It was the biggest 3-ring binder I've actually seen. I've seen other books, they have a different mechanism to hold even more pages. But this is, this is a big one. It's like a New York City phone book, which is, like that thick. Anyway, so she's paging through it, different chapters and, this and that. And so, meantime, I'm chatting with John Harlan because he's got a copy. I said, Johnny boy, why don't you page through that and take a look and see how it looks? And he's going through it, and he says, James, this is spectacular. He says, I have never seen, and I've been around academics, for 30 years. You're my protege, and I tell you, I've never seen someone come in with a prototype of their own book. I said, well, you can't say that again. So he was going through it. He loved it. He was so afraid that I wouldn't make the proper impression with his acquisition, because he's published, lots of works, and he knew the gal, by first name and this and that. The first time I've ever met with an acquisitions editor, much less one that flew in from Jacksonville. And we were our first meeting of, Friday, Saturday, whatever her work schedule was. I think we met on a Thursday. So maybe she was going to work Thursday, Friday, and spend the weekend here in beautiful Boca Raton. Anyway, so what she was trying to do is to see if there's anything like it in what Pearson Education has published over the years, which I guess they go back 20 or 30 years. I don't know how many years actually they go back in there, but she's had this binder that was, had by categories, by title, by subject, material, whatever. And she says, James looked over me. She says, this book is unique. I said, well, thank you. Is that a compliment? She said, no, I mean, there's nothing like it in our inventory of books in all of Pearson Education, including international in London. I said, well, how nice. Is that a good thing? She said, yeah, we'll buy it. I said, good, sold. That'd be 15% royalty, right? She looked, she winked, she said, okay, we'll write you down for 15%. They usually don't give 15% to first-time authors. They don't. It's an acceptable number, but it's their limit. They don't pay more than that. These guys that hawk their book, like on, the morning guy, Kilmeade, they always have a book they're hawking. And they pump them out every 3 or 4 months because it's in their contracts with Fox News that they can, have some airtime, and they flash their book and this and that, and all of a sudden it's Wall Street bestseller. Well, you hit 4 million people with a book, you get 1% of that. That's a lot of books. So they probably don't pay him 15%. They probably give him 10%, maybe 8%. Anyway, so I got 15% of nothing. Because I was in the bookstore and all. I mean, however it gets sold. So they printed up, a couple hundred, so they would be in the bookstore, and it was so. That's how I got started in the book publishing business. She said, "Well, if you ever have anything else that you're working on that you'd like us to do," she said, "Here's my card. Here's my number. You can send me a text, and since we now know each other, and we'll buy." I think she said, "We'll buy $45,000 worth of these books. Does that sound okay?" I said, "That's fine. But if you keep printing them, if we keep selling them, right?" She said, "Yep." She said, "But for this contract, it'll be $45,000." Yeah, I think that was the number. So I said, "That's fine." So she said, I have to submit this up in Jacksonville to my superiors, which goes through the system and all that, and we'll scan it for any errors. I said, "I don't think you'll find any errors." I'm like a no error zone. But if you find any errors, have at it. Feel free to change it. I said, "But I don't think you're going to find any errors. But here's the cover. I did the cover, and here's the back. Oh, you don't want any of our stock?" I said, "No. I want the book exactly like this. I want it on this hard paper. I want it, bound the way this prototype is that I gave you. You can turn that into, print speech. You guys have a language for what you do." I said, "So, but I want the book to come out just like this, nice and heavy. I don't want the flimsy paper." And that goes for the cover. And the artwork is displayed on there. I'll send you, the high quality imagery for that. 300. You do 300 dots per inch or 600? She said, "I think we're on 300. I said, "Fine. I'll send you a high resolution PDF file. I've already produced it. It's about 150K. No, 153 megabytes." I said, "Can you handle that?" She said, "Oh yeah, that'd be fine." I said, it was the biggest PDF file I ever made, but I cranked it out of 300 DPI, and for the number of pages in the book, and well, she had a digital version of that sucker. Went right into their system, and they printed it. It's magical, Oh boy. So that's in my resume. That's how that subject came up. See, there it is, Boston, Massachusetts, October 2003. That's when they bought it. They buy the book, and then they schlep them, and you get they call it a royalty. So every quarter, Every 3 months, I would get a check. Yeah, it was actually a check, hard check, which you deposit. So I get a check in the mail, it represented 15% of whatever the heck they sold, and they sell them all over the world. Whoever will buy them. But it was actually, most of the inventory was, or their sales would be promulgated through my class, and the fact that if you take my class, you have to buy the book. And as a matter of fact, that's a package deal, class and book. It's $450. I give you 10 classes. I teach from, I think it was like 6:30 to 9. So that's like 2.5 hours. And I have all these students show up, and about 20 or 30 of them, everybody had their own computer, meaning, it was, Florida Atlantic University computer, sitting on a station. And you had all, there's 30 or 40 of them in the room. I think I had 25 students in my first class. And, everyone, for the first half hour of the class, you're trying to get everybody to figure out how to turn on the stupid computer. They're not as computer literate as they should be, but I was very patient and, made sure they knew what they were doing. And because we were doing digital photography. Look at this. This is one of those Javelin missile things. Is there a picture of it actually firing? And Apple has come up with a new feature. Let's see. Oh, here's a picture of President Trump. So this is you. Oh, God. Get rid of this thing. There you go. So you can see the picture. But if I touch it, watch what happens. If I press it, watch what happens. You see that thing that went through? And watch it let go. I'm going to do it again. Now, what that has done is that has copied. That has copied President Trump, and without the background. And then I can go somewhere else, like a text message, and let's send one to Marilyn. So then you see the happy face and smile. So now I can go here and press that, and easy for you to say, right? Maybe you have to be faster. Go back here. Boing. And I'll be darned. It was like a... Oh, well, sorry. But it takes the... it copies the foreground and it without the background. And it's a copy and paste routine. And I don't know why this sucker's not accepting a paste. Yeah. Let's see if I can do it on this. Get started. You can probably... I wonder if you can see this. Let's go recents. We'll have to check the... there, we'll get to capture this one. So then we have President Trump. Now let's just hold down. No, it didn't seem to do it. It's a different operating system. Okay. Anyway, live television. What are you going to do? But I discovered that, and maybe I did it on my iPhone. I probably did it on my iPhone. You think the iPhone has more advanced? Well, let's find out. There's my cat. I took a bunch of pictures of him. When the ladies, there's two of them running around with the vacuums and mops and all this stuff, and it makes the cats a little crazy. So the cat was sitting right in the middle here, so I couldn't reach around the cat to do anything. I was like frozen in space. So I figured, okay, let's give the cat some comfort and let him just sit here right on the top of my iPad. All right, so let's do this. Yeah, there, it did it. It did the magic screen thing. Now let's send it to Marilyn. Oh, it comes up with this scanned text. Gee, what is? I don't know what that was all about. Huh. I sent it to myself. Let's see if I can find it here on the phone. Jim. Yeah, see the image? It's in black. And it's the guys that were on that scene. And it picked them right out from the background, and I expanded it and went around the edges, and it was a very good job of lifting the character right. There's both these guys. It took them right off the and I'll be darned. I'll have to do a little research and find out how I can reproduce that. Because right now, I mean, it was the picture just, oh, well, what can I say? I was going to try to demonstrate that for you, but I couldn't do it again. And I did it yesterday, and I did it this morning, and no soap right now. So, like I was saying, that's live television. So, I use this board with the pictures. Trump is in the news recently. I said, you may have known, because he had to fly to New York to get indicted and booked, fingerprinted, and then sit in the court with the judge, and they read the indictment and hand them copies and say, you're indicted, and I'll see you back here in December. In the meantime, all these lawyers are going to do what they can to in the unspoken word, see if we can put your ass in jail. So, although Trump and his minions, his lawyers, which are of the best on the planet, the man is, when he went into office, right, he was in office for 4 years. And then we got this guy for 2 years. So 6 years ago, when everybody was interested in, what his wealth might have been, it was, reported to be between $7 billion and $4.5 billion. With a boy. Be like boy, billion. That's a lot of zeros. That's a lot of boy. A billion is 1,000 million. So if you're worth 5 billion, that's 5,000 millions. Can you imagine? 5,000 millions. Anyway, so he can he has ability to attract the best legal talent that is available in the world. And he assembled a team of people. One's good at communicating with the public, and one's, good at communicating in the courtroom, and another one is, um, a performer that will face the jury. And no matter how good your case is, he flies in on his private jet, which is a 757 that's got a custom interior. That's, the plane is worth, I think it was $75 million. Can you imagine? Pull up the plane, $75 million. The engines, you can stand up in them. They're big, two big Spanjet. I think they're Rolls-Royce engines. And I've been inside one of those engines. Marilyn's father was the supervisor of the inspectors. They have people that inspect the planes. These specialists, some specialize in the equipment package, others specialize in the safety equipment. Other inspectors are, real good at the engines, the communication systems, the radar, they have all these different systems. And it makes up a $75 million plane. So, he calls up the plane and he gets, he says, okay, we're going to go to New York because I'm going to get arraigned. And that doesn't mean standing in the rain. That means arraigned in the court. And, if it goes to trial, you're up to the, you're up to the whim of 12 people in a jury. And if the city, puts on a real good case, and my guys don't do a good job defending me, I could get handcuffed and put in prison for, this, and I listened to the indictment being read, and my great legal, I don't know, I could write a book, but I don't know about legal schmeagle. But I got an IQ over 100, I'm told, and, I pay attention. So I listened to what was being said, and it's 34 federal counts. And all the counts, he paid this lady, $130,000, and she, in exchange, signed a, 8 or 10 page, non-disclosure agreement. They call it an NDA, the 3 letters. N like non, D like disclosure, A agreement, non-disclosure agreement, which means you shut your mouth and don't say anything about what the hell we're talking about. And here's what we're talking about. And they have a way of characterizing that. And then she signed and Trump signed, and that's it. Give the lady $130,000, and I'll see you never again. Goodbye. Well, she got that money 7 years ago, and she proceeded sometime during that 7-year period to dishonor the promises that she made in exchange for getting $130,000. And that's, Stormy Daniels. Every time he goes up for election, this woman shows up, flashing her body on the TV. Hopefully someone will, take her in. I understand she's, looking for a place to live. And and ain't going to be with Trump. I can guarantee you that. So that's what Stormy Daniels is all about. But anyway, this, Trump's in court. All these liberals. You got a liberal city, a liberal judge, and this character right here. He basically, for some reason or other, this is not being recognized by my system for some reason. I probably have to recycle it, but next time. Anyway, so he is an elected district attorney, and he just ran for office and won. So a second term of probably a couple of years. So he's the one that wrote this thing, and he met him in court yesterday afternoon at 2:15 p.m. Fingerprinting, you put your fingers on a glass surface that's been cleaned with your thumb, and they kind of like press your hand down on the glass. And then, they push a button and it scans your fingerprints and your palm prints and everything about your hand. I forget how they get the thumb to get the whole thumb, but maybe they do this 4 fingers with the knuckles down and then the thumb, and they do for each hand. So you don't have ink all over yourself. It's all electronic now. I applied for I have a threaded barrel on one of my handguns, on several of them actually, and on the Glock 40, Model 45, which is a 9mm caliber. 9 caliber Glock. So it's got a threaded barrel, which means the barrel is a little longer than the breech that comes across it. I might have one. Oh, just happen to have one right here. Oops. Let's take a look at this little puppy. I think a Model 45 is in here. Yes. Let me first take the clip out, which is empty. See that? And just take a look in the chamber. Nothing in the chamber. Okay, see that's... there we go. So there's no bullets anywhere. This is the original barrel that came with the gun, I believe. So this is a Model 17. Model 45. Is that? Yeah, because it's got the grooves up front and back here. In case you want to pull it from here because you got an optical sight there. So that's what. So it's got a barrel. See, that's longer than the receiver. We unscrew this. This little screw thing, which you can see right there. See, it screws on here, and it sticks out. And when you fire, this thing goes back and reloads another shell and all that. Well, you screw on your silencer onto that. Then a bullet goes from there through the silencer, which basically cuts the decibels down to 127, from 165 decibels to 127 decibels, which is still a bang, but it's not, when you fire one of these things in like a room or something, or in a range, it's an explosion, and then the bullet comes out and it's traveling at 1,000 feet per second. And so it's, when you have a silencer on there, cuts down the barrel blast, you know, because you have this blast of fiery smoke that comes out of the barrel if you were to photograph it carefully. Let's see what I have. Yep, so that's it. Really, I got a, what's this right here? Let's take a look at this baby. Oh, this is maybe the Model 17. This upside down. Yeah, there it is. This is a bigger, yeah. It's got a longer barrel, and it's a same kind of thing, threaded barrel. This is a Glock barrel that's threaded because it's got the serial number on the barrel, and it's got a serial number for the gun. So in case you swap, barrel's empty. That's empty. That's empty. Boy, if that would fire, that would be, ooh, that'd be scary. So anyway, and then here's the original barrel I have in a bag. And this little guy sits right in there. There's no ammunition in this. Oh, here's one with ammunition in it. Oh, this has got a bullet in here too. Not in this clip. These are, Daniel gave me some. These are super high speed. It's got a, they call that a hollow point, but it's a really big hollow point, meaning it's very hollow, which means that the lead projectile that comes out of here is lighter than normal and travels really fast, super fast. So that's what that's all about. So he gave me, 8 or 10 of them. We swapped guns a little while ago. He wanted one of my Model 45s. I have two. One for me and one for Marilyn. Right? That makes sense. So in this bag down here, I got another one. I wasn't really prepared to do a demonstration of my guns here on this broadcast, but what the heck. Let's see, G45. Let's see what this looks like. Let's see if I got lucky. I did. I didn't. No. That's not the one I wanted to show you. There's only two of them. I picked out the wrong one. Let's take a look at this one. How about this one? This case is three pistolas in it. Let's see what this is. Model 45. Oh yeah. See that? It's got it's got the Glock barrel with the serial number, and it's the same serial number that's on the receiver. So, when they ask you what the serial number of the gun is, it's the same as the barrel. The barrel is the key thing when the cops come to determine, if this gun fired a bullet that's inside someone. Yeah. Because every barrel has its own unique little markings that get put on the perimeter of the bullet that travels through the barrel. But this is an extended barrel. It's got the screw on, which protects the threading, so that when you finally screw on your whatever appendix you're going to put on this thing, you could have a front that goes on here that's, a blast reducer. Yeah, it stands out about this big, and it's not a silencer, but it controls the blast and the smoke and the fire that comes out of the barrel instead of it just coming all over the place. So, but the silencer controls that even more, and 50%, 50 to 60% of the sound. So this is a Model 45. It does not have, what do you call it, the reduced machined in here where you would mount an optical sight. But this has the barrel, it has the third barrel. It has an extended sight on the front end and an extended sight on the rear end. So when you're sighting, when you're firing it and using the sight, because the silencer has a diameter, you still be able to. So with these sights that are larger, you'd be able to fire the gun and not have the silencer get in the way of those sights. So that's what's going on there. And that was all installed by Glock. So this one doesn't. This is a third barrel, but this is a G17. So we'll put this away with that guy. The barrels cost, $120 or $30. So I got three guns in here. I got a G17 and a G45, and what it was, and this is probably the Sig Sauer. I like the Sig. Let's get this little puppy out of here. A whole different kind of a case. Get that out of there. There we go. Oops. Upside down. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Now let's make sure we're empty. Nothing in there. Make sure there's nothing in the barrel. Oops, nothing in the barrel. So this has a couple of cutouts on top, which that tends to, so when you fire the gun, some of the blast is going to come out here and tend to push the barrel down when the barrel is trying to jump up because of the recoil. So one, offsets the other a little bit, and it keeps you a little steadier when you're firing it. Pretty nice idea. It's the P365. It's one of the newest models of the Sig Sauer, and it has a trail on the bottom to mount a laser sight or a white light. Nothing on top, because this is the blast. So it tends to, some of the blast from the explosion that comes out of the barrel will come out of these two vents, and that would tend to push the barrel down a little bit, which gives you a little bit, so the gun doesn't jump up when you fire it. Very nice idea. It feels really good in the hand. I have small hands, so this is the 6 hours. Nice little puppy. This is the 9 caliber ammunition. Put that right there in the front. You can't. It's not in focus. Come on, get in focus. Let's get it all the way up front. Oh, I don't think we have a chance of getting it focused. It captures the background. It's more interesting. Oh, well, I gotta say it's $5. Now I put this back. Get this thing. There we go. It closes up very nicely. And while they were, see, there's the information about the gun. Got my name on it because when they put my information in the, you know, because they do a clearance on you. You know, for everything. You know, the silencer, there's an extra special thing. Let's see. The silencer permit costs you. You buy a stamp, and the stamp costs $200. Whether they approve you or not, they send you the $200. I guess you don't get the stamp if you're not approved. There's no reason to believe I would be approved. And they, you know, when a gun store delivers you the gun, they run a background check on you right then and there. Make sure you haven't done anything bad between now and then. So I'll leave this one out. This is the Model 45, yeah. With the, let's take a look again. Might have swapped these. Oh yeah, that's the barrel. Yeah. Okay. I misread the sights. All right, this goes down. Oh. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So we'll put this right down here. When we get the silencer, then we go to a gun range and play and let the boys fire it. See if I can get Marilyn to fire it. All right, we've been on air for 53 minutes and 26 seconds. It's time to say goodnight. Coming up on 2 o'clock. I started about 1 and I'm going to end about 2. So with that, we'll turn on our goodbye music, which is, you remember this. We'll see you probably tomorrow.